Well, I think we deserve this one. Just a couple stacks of TNT, a shulker full of fire resist potions, and a change of scenery. Perhaps we can get these tools back up to where they were. Hello there, Sithbelle here with another episode of Sithbelle Survives. I can't have a diamond pickaxe, it's just not cool. And after losing my last one in the Woodland Mansion, I'm in the mood to do something a little bit mindless and less dangerous for a little bit. So I'm gonna go find a nice spot where there's not a huge lava lake nearby. And we're gonna see if we can find some netherite. I have TNT this time, so hopefully it won't take nearly as long as it did with the bed method. Also, keep your fingers crossed that we don't run into just all of the lava down at the bottom and we can actually find a spot where we can explode for a little bit. Alright, Leroy. That was dumb. That's not gonna do anything. Two pieces of netherite. Three pieces of netherite. Which for half a stack of TNT and a small fraction of the time, I'd say that's totally worth it. Lesson learned this time. I may have set this up a little too close to the other one. Parkour! A tufa! Luckily, ancient debris doesn't burn. So even if we mess up horribly here and this goes in the lava, we should still be okay. Forgot we were in a Soul Sand Valley. Whoa, no? Huh, convenient. Can we get that gas tier? Let's get that gas tier. Aw, you didn't cry for me, gas? That's rude. Wow. I am so good at this game. There we go. Like, really just a living legend in my own time. Hey! So we got enough to get us 2 new netherite ingots, which, to be quite honest with you, I will take. And home. We survived, thank goodness. Apply a bit of fire. Oh, by the way, on episode 1, I believe, I was very excited about this book and I didn't know when they added it. Turns out, it's been in the game for probably 6 years now, and it came out with the 1.13 update where the rest of the books came out. I've just apparently completely missed it this entire time, so that's cool. Just wanted to have a little bit of correction there for you. 8 netherite scraps, 2 netherite ingots, and 1 fixed mistake. I'm gonna save this one for, I think, some new pants. So I wasn't quite ready to start doing actual building and stuff yet, and I still wanted to make myself feel a bit better. So I decided to do a bit more exploring, and I decided to set the goal of finding a second sniffer egg because I'd really like to start breeding them because I would really like some more of the flowers that they offer. Unfortunately, it took quite a while before I actually found one. This is the last building. Gold nugget. Awesome. Oh, baby. We can now breed. We can now breed sniffers. I'm so excited I forgot what they were even called. I should have come over here first. This has more sand, suspicious sand than all the other ones combined. That's a hoe, I don't care. I will get the emerald though. It's an axe. Is that another sniffer egg? Are you kidding me? Yep, I'm breaking you. I'm breaking you. I'm going home. Alright, I'm done pouting now. I'm ready to start work again. And I think for today, I would actually like to take care of these guys behind me. They have been inside the hill for way too long, and they're driving me nuts with their haws and their hers and their mumbles and their all of their noises. So I've spent some time in a creative test world, and I've come up with a little trading village that I think I'm going to put in this corner over here. So it's going to require a bit of tidying up the landscape a bit. We'll have to say goodbye to the tree farm. But at the end of the day, we should have all the villagers that we're going to need, and they will be mercifully silent. Another reason I want to do this is because I've seen the latest update that is nerfing villagers, and I would like to go ahead and get these guys finished before that is implemented in the game, not as an experiment. You can pry my mending villager from my cold, dead hands. So, I wanted to get started on the new project by clearing out the terrain and smoothing it out a little bit. Took it down a layer or so, and a whole bunch of dirt, and then I realized that I started this time lapse way too soon. I needed to gather a bunch of stuff first. And while I was at it, because I had to go to the nether, I decided to move my end portal up to the roof so it's easier to access. And this is it working. I was very pleased with myself. Went back through to make sure it worked on the other side, and we're good to go. With that distraction, back to the gathering. Alright, I did a bit of smoothing out in the terrain, which hopefully the replay mod took. I have converted it into a grove of trees because I need a lot of wood. And I did a bunch of gathering and started my very own shulker monster. Yay! So we're going to have 4 buildings in this general area over here. So kind of, if you imagine that this is a big square here, it's going to be broken up into quadrants, although not all buildings are created equal. We're going to flatten out this terrain just a wee bit, but still kind of have the hill element to make the landscape a bit more interesting. And then these are the shulkers that I need for each of the 4 buildings. So we're going to have our stonemasons with this palette here. We're going to have our librarians with this palette here. We're going to have our, what I'm calling the kitchen sink, which is all the little onesie-twosie guys that we don't need too many of, with this palette here. And then we're going to have a 2-story building, and it's going to involve all of these blocks, and that's where like our cartographers, our shepherds, and our farmers, and our smiths, our toolsmith, weaponsmith, all that good stuff. They're going to live in there. So that's a lot of blocks. And of course we have some spare junk as well, just in case these aren't enough, because let's face it, I never, ever, ever get the right amount on the first try. But yeah, here goes nothing. Hopefully the replay mod will take, and this won't take too long. And we'll see what we end up with at the very end. Turn it over to you, voiceover Sithbelle. I hope you're ready for a very long time lapse, because you're about to get one, because we're doing all 4 buildings in one fell swoop. Starting off in this corner over here, and you'll see that all of these follow a very similar style, which is traditional for the villager trading hall. Wanted to make sure I got lighting in the back so they're nice and well lit up so mobs don't spawn in with them and turn them into zombies, because we want to make them zombies on our own terms later on. I made each of the designs a bit different. I'll go into a little bit more detail on that a little later, so I'm trying not to repeat myself too much. With this one, I decided to go with acacia and mud for the exterior because I think it's that's a nice combination. And working with a hill is a bit difficult because I keep having to terraform the grass around as I build because I want to make sure that it looks all right. And then once I got that one built, we moved on to the double-decker house that I'm calling it. It has 2 floors on it. The bottom one has more of a mangrove and kind of a almost red, white, and blue kind of look to it. And then the top part is going to be a bit more natural later on. I went a bit crazy with the colors on this one, not going to lie to you. And then I had some lovely visitors that I had to delicately kill because we did not want to start a raid with all these villagers that are nearby. It turns out I didn't have nearly enough birch for this project as I thought I was going to. It always seems like one of those blocks that you have way too much of until you actually need it, and then it's like, where did it all go? That was my life for this particular project. So if you see a few pauses every now and then, that's me going to get more. As you can see, they're all following that similar path where it's like a little 1x2 hole for the villagers to be stuck in. We're going to end up putting their trade, what are those things called? We're going to end up putting those trade blocks in later on, but we need to leave them open for the rail tracks for now, which we will get to later. This was enough as it is. Anyway, continuing on work. Yes, I know I missed that one strip log. It will eventually get fixed. Not in this time lapse though, sorry about that. And just continuing plugging away. Replay mod is moving back and forth at lovely motion sickness speeds. And you'll see there's quite a few times where I go back and forth between the shulkers. I should have just moved them closer. I don't know why I didn't. Eventually, you'll see here in a little bit that I finally did give up and move them down, but it took a long time before I finally did that, like a couple hours. So here, I'm starting the stonemason area, and as you can see, it's got kind of a more industrial bricky look to it. I wanted this one to kind of be a little bit plainer than the rest of them because they deal with all of these stone types. So that's why I picked what I did. And I went with a black concrete floor because the rest of these kind of have a little bit fancier floors, and I just wanted something a little bit basic, I guess, to match the exterior. Again, you can see more terraforming, getting the grass all nice and pretty and all that good stuff. And then the final building is our library. Got visited by a creeper before I got started. Spent some time in the cave lighting it up from where the creeper came from. And then began creating this lovely longhouse style build. And you'll see I actually make a wonderful error in a little bit that took me quite a while to figure out and fix. So I go back and forth on this one quite a few times. But I'm really happy with the color palette on this one. It's nice and warm and cozy, and I got to use some of my favorite colors, and I got to use the bamboo a little bit, which I think provided a nice border to the floor. So here's where I make the mistake. First of all, I put the stripped birch in the wrong area. So I'm already correcting that once. Bring the wall around here, fix it up, and then I put this side of the dark oak in the wrong spot. It should have been 1 block back. So I don't find this out until much later. End up fixing this area over here, making it look okay. Put the birch on as the little border to kind of make it look like the rest of them. Start stripping, go down to strip this section, realize, oh poo, it's in the wrong spot. Move some grass around as a little bit of a break, and then I go back and fix it. So it is fixed, but it was annoying at the time. But luckily, after that, it was done, and I'm ready to show you the other stuff. Excuse me, mister. How did you... How do you exist? Did you escape the breeder? Yep, my breeder's gone horribly, horribly wrong. Probably should look into fixing that before I make any more of these guys. Oh, mystery solved, I guess. Well, hopefully that the time lapse is worked out on there, and if not, well, these 4 buildings popped up out of nowhere. So this will house all the villagers that we should need for the foreseeable future. In here we have the kitchen sink collection, and it's, very colorful with different woods to represent each of the different types that we're going to have in here. This area here is our farmer and smith area. Oop, and it looks like I forgot to strip a section over there. I'll have to get on that. I'm sure that was driving y'all crazy in the time lapse. But yeah, our farmers are going to live over here. Our smiths are going to live over here. Decided to do the iron because, well, they like to trade iron, and the farmers have a very kind of natural palette. When I was building this in the creative world, this wood here was a level lower, so I don't know what I changed or what I did wrong, but we're going to have this extra purple stripe here. I might change that later, but I really like how the pattern turned out on this side because it kind of looks like chains, so I might just live with it. We'll see. And here we're going to have our librarians, complete with storage thanks to the new chiseled bookshelves, which I adore, by the way. And I kind of wanted to make this feel warm and inviting and feel very, very cozy, like you want to just snuggle up and read a book there. Took me a couple tries because I made this end all wrong for some reason, but we got it there in the end. And this area on the bottom floor here is going to be where our cartographers and our shepherds live. Hopefully we can get all of the banners represented in here so we can, just have those on call. But we're going to have a sheep farm later, so that's not that big of a deal, but it'll be nice to have. So I wanted to create a crazy purple building, and I'm calling it the Teresa building, which is named after my stepmom, because it is purple, and she loves any and all thing purple. And it just seemed like a fun idea to do. She also loves sparklies and crazy patterns, and, well, maybe not crazy patterns, but I felt like the sandstone patterns were a fun addition anyway. If she ever sees it, hopefully she'll like it. And finally we have the stonemason section, which, as you can see, isn't as complete as the other ones. And that is because smooth quartz is very hard to come by without stonemasons, so I kind of need the stonemasons to get what I need. So we'll be putting a few in here, and we will get our quartz, and then we'll be able to finish this bad boy up. Why do you have to rain now, man? Obviously, none of these buildings are complete because they are missing some crucial components, otherwise known as roofs. They're also missing the villagers that should be living in them because it is way too quiet here right now. So I'm going to go get some villagers in here, and the breeder's broken and all my villagers have escaped, so this will be a fun project. And we'll get some roofs on here, and then we can call this project done. Oh, and one last thing before I actually start on the other stuff. I did actually manage to terraform this hill so that the library is not dangling off the edge, and I'm very proud of me because it could look worse. Probably should have done a retaining wall, but I'm not confident at retaining walls yet, so it's just going to be a big square hill. I actually think this is where we're going to leave it for today. Y'all don't need to see me struggle bus with putting the roof on, and you definitely don't need to see me struggle bus getting the villagers in. Hopefully I'll start off the next episode with most of that finished, or at least started, and we can move on to the next great project. I know it's been a bit of a shorter episode this time, but this video is way overdue, and I want to get it out to you. So if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!